Welcome to Comically Comics, your one-stop listen to all things comics. We're talking books, movies, TV shows, video games, and more. I must forewarn you, though, we are a spoiler cast, and what that means is we consider all properties, past, future, and present, to be valid, and we will spoil the hell out of them. I'm your host, Michael, along with my two co-hosts, Richard and Jeremy, and with all that being said, let's get started. All right, it is Sunday, October 1st. I didn't even realize it was October till just now.
Spooky month.
All right.
Woo, spooky month.
Speaking of
supposed
spooky,
to be fall, but yet it's like 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, come on, Jeremy. Like, bro, like, I know you're in a whole different part of this country now, but fact of the matter is that you lived in Alabama long enough to know that it does not become winter, not even until Christmas.
No.
Like,
It's like late.
I've been outside washing my car in shorts before on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Okay,
I know. It's ridiculous.
It's like late
Sweating.
January, early February when it finally gets like cold.
Yeah, that's
We
when
get,
we
like-
have our potential winter blizzards.
Yeah.
Is in January.
Yeah, it doesn't even
We have
really.
like a month and a half of it.
You can still wear shorts like in November. Like-
Right. Yeah. Oh, anyway, speaking of the spooky month, we are going to be doing a Halloween special, and it's going to be a review of Batman's The Long Halloween. So if you didn't get enough Batman all last month, then we're going to top this month off with some Batman. So
That's right.
I've gotten almost halfway through it because I was trying to get like ahead of the game, and it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I'm digging it. So it's my first read through on it.
Cool.
I do have beef with Selena Kyle's look, but we'll get into that.
Yeah.
when we talk about it.
Yeah. Well, it's Frank Miller. Like
She looks like a young white Michael Jackson.
if you hate that one, you're gonna hate the Dark Knight Returns one.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I can see that. Frank Miller is I like his writing for the most part, but his drawing is spotty for me. It's spotty for me. There's things that I like. There's things that I really don't like.
Yeah.
So he came out with a Wolverine cover here like last month or something. Oh, that was bad. It was real bad.
Yeah. I'm very hit or miss on Frank Miller. I think some of his writing is trash, and then some of his stuff is pretty good. But anyway.
Well, you know who else that thinks comic book stuff is trash?
This guy.
Which guy?
Martin Scorsese?
Yes! Look at you son of a bitch. Yeah, he's putting a call to all arms and telling people to fight back, and that we have to save cinema, that people like coming up are going to think that when you say movie that you're only referring to superheroes. And
Yeah.
that's it. At least that's how the article read to me. How did it read to y'all?
Yeah, well, I was actually just going to read the quote real quick, if you don't mind. When asked about the blockbuster, Scorsese said their omnipresence could be negative to audiences who weren't well-versed in other types of films. The danger there is what it's doing to our culture, he said, because there are going to be generations now that they think, I can't read tonight. I shouldn't have done this. Because there are going to be generations that think movies are only those. That's what movies are. When the interviewer posted, when the interviewer posided, I don't know what that word is. Anyway, when the interviewer asked, the audience might already have believed that. Scorsese agreed. They already think that, he said, which means that we have to then fight back stronger, and it's going to have to come from the grassroots level. It's going to come from the filmmakers themselves, and you'll have to, the Safdie brothers. I've never heard them before, but anyway, and you'll have Chris Nolan, you know what I mean, and hit them from all sides, and don't give up. Let's see what you got. Go out there and do it. Go reinvent. Don't complain about it, but it's true because we've got to save cinema. The director also spoke about the streaming era definition of content as opposed to the actual cinema. I do think that the manufactured content isn't really cinema, he said, adding, it's almost like AI making a film, and that it doesn't mean that you don't have to have incredible directors, special effects people doing beautiful artwork, but what does it mean? What do these films, what will it give you? Aside from a kind of consumption of something and then eliminating it from your mind, your whole body, so what's it giving to you? So that was from what, Variety? Yeah, that was from Variety.com. I butchered that reading through it. Anyway.
Well, just to like in that whole thing, like for one, I didn't know what we were talking about half the time. Whenever I started reading that article, I was like, I don't. What is he like? What are we fighting against here? Like to me, it didn't like start off actually explaining it.
Yeah,
and also whoever wrote that article had several grammatical errors, and I'm like, that's probably part of the reason why you struggled reading through it.
Really?
Yes, because it was bugging me.
So far be it from me to critique Martin Scorsese, because he does make, he made Goodfellas, he's made Wolf of Wall Street, but like, again, kind of how there's going to be some film nerds who are gonna, I don't know, probably think I'm crazy here, but like the fucking disaster porn movie guy, I can't think of his name right now. Anyway, like there's only so many coked out Bostonian asshole movies that you can make, Martin Scorsese. So like, don't, like, I feel like that's pot calling the kettle black. Like, all of his movies are kind of the same. They're great fucking movies. Like, once again, I want to reiterate that. But I kind of agree with him on some sense, because I think he's referring to David Zaslav, the new CEO or whatever of Max, because he's just a fuckwit. I'm just gonna say it how it is. And he's not even referring to directors and stuff as like directors and writers. He just calls them like content creators, like we are, or YouTube makers and stuff like that. And that's just not who they are, because ultimately at the end of the day, movies, comics, even, and music are all a form of art. And they're not just to be consumed. They are supposed to be something more than just that. So I get where Scorsese is coming from. But at the same time, I argue that comic book movies can be a form of art, and comic books are a form of art. And so I get my panties in a wad, if you will, when he says stuff like that, because I'm like, bro, chill the fuck out. Like,
yeah, I mean, I agree too. Like I said, when I was reading that article, I didn't know who we were fighting against. I thought like it was fighting against the streaming. Yeah. So whenever I got to that section, I was like, oh, okay. So he's talking about like which I agree. But I didn't realize he was necessarily going after superhero movies. So again, whoever wrote this article did a terrible job. But like I agree. I enjoy other movies. Don't have to doesn't have to be superhero stuff. I know we've definitely been kind of like just kind of smacked across the head with a ton of like superhero movies and stuff coming out, but I mean, it's kind of what this generation is right now, a little bit like what they've been enjoying, and you also play to what sells out there too. So I mean, it can be superheroes now, or it could be, I don't know, Western movies later, whatever kind of thing. It just whatever's hitting the most right now, and yeah, so I can understand where he's coming from a little bit. Main thing I would just be like, tired of the straight to streaming stuff, like series. I know we're about to watch one, but it's actually a decent one, and one of the few that are decent. So, streaming, all that stuff is, I mean, it's unfortunately going to keep going and kind of keep hitting those movie boxes a little bit, especially the prices of movies nowadays. So.
Yeah. Well, as far as like the straight to streaming service and stuff like that, I feel like if they sit there and actually put the money towards it, like that can still be everything else that the cinema is. You know what I mean? It still gives you emotion, still makes you feel things, still makes you think things, still makes you, draw conversation with like-minded people that have consumed the same property. You know what I mean? And go further and beyond, what that is. And if that's the goal, if that's like the end thing, then right now comic book movies are fucking just killing it, is what it boils down to. Because I mean, look at how many YouTube videos, YouTube, podcasts, things like that, who are solely just off of talking about this shit. You know what I mean?
I feel called out right
now. But that's what I'm saying. Like, and that's what we sit there and strive to do, is to go out, like, talk about movies, talk about TV shows, talk about the books, talk about video games, which we've lacked of, but like things like that, you know what I mean? Where we try to talk about these things that we enjoy. And I kind of feel like Christopher Nolan, like that's really a bad one to throw out there. Like, not that Christopher Nolan is just known for The Dark Knight, but like he's made a huge contribution to comic book movies in that trilogy that he made. And so like, that's like, hold your horses there, Scorsese, just a little bit, just a little bit, you know? Like, I know he's made other great movies. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying it was just kind of funny when I read that. Now, like, out of all the people you could have named, you named him, you know?
Yeah.
So, and I feel like we've talked about it before, that Marvel, when they were like on top, they were making genre movies, just with superheroes.
Yeah.
And if you can do that, I think you're freaking winning.
Yeah. That's what that's been my argument for people like the film nerds and stuff like that. Cause I like, my first love is movies. And I watch a ton of movies. So like, I get where they're coming from, but at the same time, I'm a big defender of comics. Cause I'm like, you can tell a great story with people in spandex. Like if you just ignore the people shooting rays out of their hands or eyes or whatever it may be, you can tell a fantastic story. Like, perfect example. Last week, we talked about The Batman. We talked about all the Batman movies, but The Batman, I think, is such a great film. And anyway, yeah, it just it stick in my craw, if you will, for a southern saying.
Yeah, and like I agree. You can do plenty of things that it doesn't matter if it's part of a superhero movie. I mean, or whatever the realm, whatever. But basically, I mean, another one is like where you can learn about a spy and his wife. You know, if you want the super spy and his wife, like his, their backstory and everything, like, and learning all about their romance. And
you lost me here. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Secret Invasion.
Oh. Oh.
It's a great way to, it's all about Marvel, but yet, you find out about his love lost and everything.
It's a terrible, terrible show. But like, let's be real here. Scorsese's not watching Miss Marvel. Scorsese's not tuning into Disney Plus every fucking week, watching whatever Ahsoka and stuff like that. Like, he's not doing that. He's watching turn classic movies. That's what he's watching.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I guess one of my things was like I think what's missing though out of this conversation is the fact that and something that you hit on, Jeremy, is that the kids that like grew up with all this shit as their primary, interests and stuff like that, they have fucking grown up money now. You know what I mean? And like, that's where that's grown up money. That's what all these industries want in the end. Like, they have to make money. That's why nobody makes a Western anymore.
Yeah.
They might make a Western genre movie, but nobody makes an actual Western anymore. You know why? Because people didn't fucking grow up with Westerns.
Yeah.
They just didn't. Like, my dad watched them, but I didn't really watch them. That wasn't my thing. So, and I think that's the case in a lot of homes. And that's why we haven't gotten a Western really in a long time. So, and the other thing too was that, like, Richard, you said something about, forget the spandex, the capes, the laser eyes and stuff like that. But there's so many like sci-fi horror movies that have made like these must-watch lists and have like stood the test of time. Fucking Aliens, Predator, and The Thing, and just stuff like that. And then there's stories, there's books where all these things come from that have stood the test of time. J.R. Tolkien's, the Lord of the Rings and the Narnia books and shit like that. Like, there's so many, you know what I mean? And so like
Harry Potter.
We'll get to that, Jeremy. We'll get to that.
Right. So like, that's the other thing, is that like, there's so many books that are just now starting to hit their stride as far as like being adapted into mainstream media,
right,
through movies and stuff like that. Like they shouldn't take a back seat. Like, they're just now at their prime of when they can actually come out and everybody enjoy that property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they should take a back seat. I'm just saying that, like, I don't know. Scorsese it really kind of bugs me here with that, because like, I think the new cool trend right now is to hate on superhero movies, even though literally like 4 years ago, everyone was so hyped for fucking Endgame and stuff like that. Like, so I just feel like that's the new in thing is like, oh, superhero movies are bad, blah, blah, blah. And like, yeah, we have had a glut of terrible things.
Yeah.
But to quote The Dark Knight, it'll be darkest before it's dawn. So we gotta, just gotta trudge through it. And I think we'll get back to some good stuff.
Or to quote The Dark Knight, live long enough to see yourself as the villain.
Well, we are. Yeah, I do use that quote a lot too. We are probably getting into a little bit of that as well with the just the corporate conglomeration of it with Disney wanting to just make as much, like just milk everything for what it's worth until it's dry and then discard it. I'm hoping though, like the powers that be are trying to push back at least on that. So anyway,
we'll see. And maybe we'll get a good indicator because they're searching for writers for the new X-Men movie now.
I know.
So Deadline is throwing reports out there that Marvel Studios are placing writers meetings for later this fall. Pitches for the X-Men movie. They're in no rush, supposedly, because this movie has no release date. So what are y'all's thoughts on that? Are y'all excited? Y'all hyped for this? I'm kind of confused, honestly.
I just have one note that just says, yay!
Yay, Batman! Yeah. Except it was yay, X-Men.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm excited. I've been dying for X-Men to show up. That's my only reason why I'm drudging through like the multiverse saga. Like I'm just like, if we could just get to fucking X-Men, it'll be so fucking awesome.
I hope so anyways.
Yeah.
I really hope that they do work it out. I'm glad that they're not rushing it, like I said. Because I mean it'll be a big one that can it's either gonna be like a crash and burn or it's gonna be a great turning point kind of thing. So definitely one that they need to get right. So taking their time and actually figuring it out, I think that's gonna be the best thing. Obviously everybody's like, a lot of people are wanting it to be sooner rather than later, but it would definitely be worth the wait if it's done correctly.
I do like the quote that was in there where the guy was interviewing Feige and he was like, so we talking like phase 10 X-Men coming out? Because, the X and all that. And Feige was like, oh, you want to wait that long? I was thinking sooner than that, but okay. Like, yeah. Like, yes, Feige, yes.
Pull a freaking Apple, like iPhone or with the X or whatever.
Yes. Hey, X-Men is all about, like, every one of their titles usually has X in the title somewhere.
Twitter beat them to it too.
Yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, that's
I'm
true.
just saying.
Yeah.
Do you think Elon Musk's a big X-Men fan?
No.
Do you think that's what his obsession with X is?
No, it's the whole thing. I was reading about it a while back when he like renamed it. Anyway, it's Musk's Twitter. I mean, it's Musk podcast now. It's something to do back. He was like the creation of PayPal. He wanted to call it X Pay or X Pal or something like that, but they didn't. And anyway, he eventually named one of his EV cars X, and then now I don't know. He just likes the letter X for some reason. It's weird. It's weird.
Are any of his children named Xavier?
No, they're usually named like weird symbols,
like Alpha and Gamma.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Well, I forget. I think one of them is like Alpha or something like that.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
If that's not the firstborn, then like, what are you doing?
I don't know.
Yeah. But it's gonna be, and like I'm wondering if then it'll be like end up being like X-Men, formerly known as Sony crap. Like
it was Fox.
Yeah,
Fox. Yeah. I guess. Yeah, sorry, got that wrong. But yeah,
Sony and Spider-Man.
Yeah,
SNS.
That's kind of like it's one and the same. They were both crap. So
the Fox X-Men are hit and miss. Like it's almost like the Bond movies. Every other movie is like good. With the X-Men anyway. Like, because I like X-Men 1 and 2. 3 can fuck off. I like the First Class.
Yes.
I even like Days of Future Past.
Yeah.
I forget when X-Men Origins Wolverine comes in, but it can fuck off. The Wolverine is quite good. And obviously Logan is probably one of the best ones that they ever made.
Yeah.
And I'm missing some. I'm trying to think of the Apocalypse. That one's not fucking awful, but it's bad. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's some decent parts in it, but on the whole, it's kind of bad. And then I didn't even see Dark Phoenix because I heard it was just fucking atrocious.
I've heard the same, and I haven't watched it yet, but it's not because of what I heard. It's just because I haven't actually made time for it. It was one of those I missed it and just never went back.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
that was me for Batman versus Superman, but hey, made time for it.
I worry somewhat about this news, honestly, because I figured like Feige already had mutant plans, especially, naming Kamala Khan a mutant, and which I know he's got like at least it's rumored that he has a dislike for the Inhumans. And so I'm just kind of like, what's going on there, Feige? What's all this?
Well,
what's all this about? Do you not have an idea?
I don't think he doesn't have an idea. I think he has a general of like how to introduce them. I think what he's doing is trying to maybe drop seeds of them before, because the rumor is that we're gonna have an actual like almost like a crisis for the MCU, because rumors is that Secret Wars is going to be like a reboot of the MCU, and we may get recastings of some old characters such as like Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, all that stuff. And then the mutants will just be in that universe now.
Yeah.
Okay. You were saying something about the crisis there, Jeremy?
Oh, just like it's gonna be one of those with the recasting that's gonna ruffle a lot of feathers. Like people, especially, and one may be my wife, just knowing her. But it's like the people that don't like what I used to be, that didn't really know about comics and resetting and all that kind of stuff. Like, and be kind of ruffled about it, but I'd be fine with it.
This is something unheard of from Marvel, because DC will do a crisis every 10 years to reboot their stories. Marvel doesn't. Marvel just keeps on chugging along, and they just say this whatever 70-year span happened within, I don't know, 10 years. Yeah. Like, they never really go out and say like exactly how long it's been. There's a fan theory that Franklin Richards is control of it, and that's why, because he can alter reality. Anyway, that's getting into a whole comic-y pasta thing. What is interesting though is I really hope they pick some good replacements, because there's some big shoes to be filled with some of these characters. And that's not even like a pun, because the person's big. But yeah, I think it'll be just like how Bond is casted. Like, I've always said that for a while now, that when you recast Iron Man, it's just like how we got a new James Bond. This is the new James Bond. It'll be the new James Bond for the next 4 or 5 movies, and then we'll have a new James Bond, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, or like I wonder if, and just another analogy would be like the Doctor Who stuff. Like, where your first initial contact with that new doctor, you're very like hesitant. Like, I liked this last doctor. Why we have a new one? But as you warm up to him, it gets better.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love how they do with Doctor Who. Like, they turned a terrible situation into something that almost makes it timeless with the regeneration of the different doctors. Because like the first doctor died, and they were like, "Oh shit, what do we do?" Anyway, I think that's really cool how they do that. Anyway,
speaking of recasting, I have a question I need to ask.
All right.
How would y'all feel if Daniel Radcliffe, Harry Potter himself, was the Wolverine for the MCU?
No.
That's not where I thought that was going to go for you.
No. I'm not a big Daniel Radcliffe fan. I'm not.
Really?
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I love Harry Potter. No. Well, for what? I mean, he's missing like some of the major points of what Harry Potter's supposed to be. But anyways, Like,
give me that Gryffindor scarf. Give it to me. Give it to
me. He's just. I saw these things like even before y'all mentioned it. I didn't really look into it. I just thought it was like just some joke about him being. I didn't know it was a serious thing. And because I was just like, no, he's just no. Like, to me, it honestly gave me like the vibes of Shia LaBeouf, whatever his name is, like going through like the whole like that do it like video or whatever, just do it. Like it made me like the way his picture was. Like I just thought he was, I don't know, having an issue or something there for a minute. But
before we get too far into this, I want to read off what all we're actually talking about here. So the rumor is that Daniel Radcliffe was been cast in a secret role in Deadpool 3. A lot of speculation is that he could be a Wolverine variant, and that's why I brought this conversation up.
Yeah.
So the picture, honestly, I really like the picture. I don't know how tall he is. I think he's substantially shorter though.
He's very short, which is why. So real quick, just the rumor going around too is that the plot for Deadpool now is that he's going through the multiverse looking for his Wolverine or potentially the best Wolverine.
Yes,
and
yeah.
So we will not just see potentially Daniel Radcliffe as a Wolverine, but we'll see multiple people. Like rumors that Terrence Egerton may be in it as a Wolverine. Even Tom Hardy is rumored now to possibly be a Wolverine.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so a lot of fans have been wanting Daniel Radcliffe because he's gotten kind of ripped as of late. Like most recently, it was for Miracle Workers. There's this season. I tentatively watch this show. It's funny some seasons very hit or miss for me. But this recent season I haven't watched, but they're dealing with like the apocalypse and stuff like that. And he attacks these like raiders or whatever. And that image that you see in his whitey tighties is him like stripping off his like whatever clothes, and he's gonna just like bare knuckle brawl with them. And I like him more so out of Harry Potter. I loved him in Guns Akimbo. I don't know if y'all have ever seen that movie. I think it's great. He was great as kind of like the villain in Now You See Me Too. I thought he was great in that. I don't know if he'd be a good Wolverine, but I got a feeling being Deadpool, it's going to be a goof. It's going to be a gag. And they even mentioned that in the article about how like Deadpool could even be like, oh, you even got yourself a Harry Potter Wolverine. And then it's like, Daniel Radcliffe, like with the mutton chops and the hair and stuff with some claws. Anyway, I think it's cool. A fun little nod.
Yeah.
I honestly would love to see him as Wolverine. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Like, just because he has toned himself up.
Mm-hmm.
And like I could see him with some goofy hair and like a cigar or whatever. And I like the idea of it, honestly. So, and then if he is the shortest of everybody, like that to me is perfect. So,
yeah. I'm thinking of the Pete Holmes skit. Like, bub, you flail. That's your power. That's what you do. You flail.
Well, and I'd love to see him get recognized for something other than Harry Potter. Like, because I hate it when certain, like, seems to be decent actors get stereocast, and like that's what they are from then till eternity. They're done. They're nothing else, and that's just, I don't know. It's just sad to me. So I'd like to see deserving actors, actually kind of break out of those stereotypes.
Sorry, real quick. Just his height is 5'5".
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. He's like my size.
He's a short king, as the cool kids say these days.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just learned about that the other day. Short king, like that. I was like, what in the world are you talking about? And they had to go explain. I was like, wow, I'm old. Okay, but
yes, we are.
I'm gonna need y'all to like up my game because I have no idea what the fuck y'all are talking about.
It's not worth your time, honestly.
Yeah, we'll talk after the podcast.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, like back to like Daniel Radcliffe. I mean, he's had, like Richard said, he's had some good roles and things like that. I remember seeing him one or two, like, and he actually did a good job in those. I'm not crazy about him as Harry Potter, but I mean, he did all right in those. But I don't know. It would definitely be interesting to see how they would bring him in on that as Wolverine.
You know what else would be interesting?
What's that?
To read this book, The Reign of Marvel Studios. In this book,
I'm sorry. I have to, for our listeners, Michael is on point today with his segues. And I'm going to.
Thank you. I'm taking a bow.
Take a bow.
Now I'm going to fuck it all up the rest of the
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I've jinxed you.
But in this book that's coming out, there's like tons of lists of what could be's, the Marvel what if of the universe right here. We're talking about Charlie Hunnam possibly as Thor, along with Tom Hiddleston, Loki, Alexander Skarsgård, Liam Hemsworth, Chris Hemsworth's brother, who honestly apparently had the role better than Chris did, which that was a cool story to read. Let's see, Wyatt Russell, Sebastian Stan, Chris Pratt, John Krasinski, Chase Crawford, Jens Atkins as Captain America. Let's see. Karen Gillian as Sharon Carter. Chadwick Boseman. This was the biggest one. Chadwick Boseman is fucking Drax.
That's a terrible, terrible casting. I'm so glad whoever, I don't know if it's Sarah Haley Finn, the casting director, who's like honestly the unsung hero of the MCU. But anyway, I don't know if it was her decision to nix that or Gunn, but like, God, that would have been a terrible Drax.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? I apologize to this lady, but I believe it's Lupia.
No, it's Lupita Nyong'o.
Oh, thank you so much for saving me on that one. Yes. Hers Gamora, which I could see, but I like her better as the love interest for
Nakia.
Yes, I like her better for that role. So did y'all look at this list of like names and stuff like that? And did anything of that catch y'all off guard?
The Alexander Skarsgård did, which I'm like, because my wife loves it. Like, she's obsessed with him. She like has such a crush on him. She loves him from True Blood and pretty much anything that he's in. And honestly, I was like, he's probably too old now, but like back then when they were doing like the first Thor movie, it'd have been fine. But like where Thor now is in his life, I don't know if Skarsgård would be the perfect role. But he's a legitimate fucking Viking. Like he's like, I forget, he's Swedish or something like that. So like he literally is descended from Vikings. So obviously he would be like a great pick for Thor. Especially because he was in that a long time ago. We did an episode and I couldn't remember the name of the movie that he's in, but it's called Northman, where he plays a Viking, and it's fantastic. But anyway,
can we get him as Balder the Brave then?
Yeah, you could have. Daniel Craig was also in that list as a running for Thor as well.
Oh, wow.
Which I think is why the rumors were he was going to play Balder in Multiverse of Madness.
I heard that too.
As part of the Illuminati. But yeah.
I hate that idea of him being part of the Illuminati as much as I hate it. Elektra and Daredevil being part of the Illuminati in Deadpool 3, but yeah, that is what it is.
I've heard this for years, but Jim from The Office, John Krasinski, as Captain America, I think is the worst casting for Captain America. I even remember that came out before the movie, like before Captain America: The First Avenger came out. I remember talking about it in school with someone who was like, "Yeah, these are the guys that are rumored to be up for the role." And I just remember Jim from The Office. He's got those big old ears that stick out. And I'm like, no, absolutely not.
Yeah, it'd be hard to tame those in that Captain America cowl.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised to hear Charlie Hunnam because, like, maybe that's who they wanted for Thor, possibly. But he's a little guy. Well, I say little guy, like I'm sure he's bigger than me, but like whenever I've seen him in movies and stuff like that, I mean, I guess the most recent one was for me was Sons of Anarchy next to Ron Perlman, who's fucking beastly of a guy. But somebody said something about him being Green Arrow for the DC universe, and I'm like, yes, absolutely. Yeah. And he's like, who? I don't know. Sure, why not? Like he's like, I have. He's like, whatever.
He would be a good Ollie.
I thought so.
Yeah, I like that casting a lot. That would be a great Ollie. How when you say he's small, like you talking about like he's short or he's just like small in stature? Like
small in stature. Like he's
okay.
Like I'm sure. Like I said, I'm sure he's taller than me. Most everybody is, and he's got a pretty like fit physique, but he's not like, I wouldn't look at him and think Viking.
Yeah,
like he doesn't look like he's like big enough to be a Viking. Does that make sense?
Yeah, this article goes into like ridiculous detail about the workout regimen that Chris Hemsworth had to do and all this stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Because apparently he was like, I don't know, because he's from Australia and I'm not from Australia, but he was like a surfer bro or something in Australia before he was like this actor. So I think he had more of a lean body type, not the big buff like build that he is known for now. So Charlie could probably do that, but yeah, I like what they ended up with. I've seen if you go online, you can see Tom Hiddleston doing a, what do you call it? He's testing out for the role of Thor. Like he's doing, he's doing a line read. Thank you. Audition. He's doing an audition for Thor, and it's quite, because Kenneth Branagh, who's a very, Shakespearean actor and director and stuff like that. Thor was known for his does mother wear his drapes, or whatever, whatever it is.
Yes,
he's very much
doth
like
mother know thou weareth her drapes. You son of a bitch! Love that part.
Yeah, that is very Thor from the comic books, especially the older comic books, because Stan Lee liked that sort of speak for Thor. So Kenneth Branagh was very drawn to that. So, and Tom Hiddleston is like an actor, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And anyway, they ended up liking, from this article, what they said is they ended up liking Hemsworth much better, but they didn't want to get rid of Hiddleston, so they brought him in for Loki, which was cool. The other thing I just want to talk about is Kenneth Branagh. It's a nothing kind of burger, but in that it mentions how Kenneth Branagh wanted to change the name of Mjolnir to Uru because Mjolnir was just too hard to pronounce. And I'm like, dude, you know how to speak in, what is it, iambic pentameter? Or I'm probably butchering that when my wife's going to hit me over the head afterwards because she loves Shakespeare stuff. But anyway, yeah. And I'm like, you know how to speak in some of the hardest like forms of English there is, and you can't pronounce Mjolnir. Anyway,
that is pretty. Yeah, I like the response of like Feige smirking and saying, "Oh no, they'll hang you for that." And he's like, "Okay, well, I guess we won't do that." I was just surprised that Liam had one over on, because there's three brothers in the Hemsworth, if you don't know.
Yeah.
And so you got Chris as the middle, if I'm not mistaken. Liam's the youngest, and then the oldest does like soap operas in Australia.
Huh.
And so it was funny to me to hear that Liam was like having one over on Chris, and to the point of like Liam had progressed to the next round, and they were questioning, like whoever Chris was working with at that time was like, "I don't see your name on this list." And he's like, "I don't know. I guess I just butchered it. I lost it." So, but sent in another tape and was able to get his way back in, obviously. But yeah, that threw me off guard. Along with, y'all talking about auditions and stuff like that. The offer that Chris Evans got to be Captain America after he turned it down the first time, of a 9-movie deal with no audition.
Yeah.
The fuck you say?
Yeah.
He doesn't like being in the limelight. Like you hear in that article about how like he was very much like, I may be signing my death warrant, by like, if these movies are bad, I think the quote was something like, I don't want to make these, like, I don't want to be tied down making fucking shitty movies or something like that.
Yeah, no, I was pretty surprised by that too. I was like, wow, good for you, man. Like, and that's awesome.
After he got done with Captain America, you're kind of seeing that now where, I mean, he's got pretty much, because of the MCU, he's got fuck you money where he can do whatever the fuck he wants now. So yeah, you're seeing he gets to pick and choose what he wants to be in and what he doesn't want to be in. So anyway, that's cool. Real quick, Luke Hemsworth is the oldest brother. I just wanted to look up his name.
Okay. Awesome. Good deal. Well, I have no good segue for this. So Spider-Man 2 for PlayStation 5. They've released.
Just threw him off.
I'm sorry.
No, I thought I had a way to work it in earlier, and then I was like, no, I got to talk about this other stuff. Anyways, 98 fucking gigabytes for this download for Spider-Man 2 on PlayStation 5.
That's still only a third of like Call of Duty's.
That's what Yeah. So my
It's a third of it?
Yeah. Like
Call of Duty's 300 gigs?
No, it's
probably not. No, it's like 150.
No, hey, I have all the data down here real quick.
Sorry.
I was going to say, he's got the runtimes over here.
Yeah, exactly. My note is this is a nothing burger. Currently sitting on my PS5 right now. The biggest I think I did biggest to smallest. Yeah, I did. All right. Not Fallen Order. Jedi Survivor is 151 gigs. Final Fantasy VII Remake is 86 gigs. God of War Ragnarok is 85. Marvel's Spider-Man Remastered is 54 gigabytes. Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales is 39 gigabytes. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy is 30. But it's not even the biggest that's ever been out right now. Going from smallest to largest, Red Dead Redemption 2 is 120 gigabytes. Jedi Fallen Survivor, as I previously mentioned, is 151. NBA 2K23 is 153.
No shit.
And Call of Duty is 175 gigabytes.
Yeah, that's the dumbest thing ever.
Call of Duty.
So it's almost double.
Yeah, it's Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. Is the
so
title.
I could see Call of Duty, like Call of Duty, Red Dead Redemption, Final Fantasy. I could see all those being these big, ginormous, like downloads and stuff like that. And I know that the newest Star Wars is kind of like a Red Dead Redemption where you can do planet hopping and shit like that I've heard of. And so I could see that one being like a giant download as well. But fucking NBA, like, what are you downloading? What, like, these stadiums don't require that much.
Yeah, I don't
They're basically all the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea. I can understand. I'm excited that it's that big because that means there's probably going to be a shitload of stuff to do in the game. But
which I can understand it being that big too, because I mean, playing the multiple Spider-Man and that, like, I mean, that's a lot. I mean, because if you think about it, it's almost like 2 or 3 of the current game. Like would you say the Miles Morales was like 30 or something like that?
Yeah, it's 30. And it's 39. And
the
remastered, which is just like the digital copy that's for PS5, is 54.
So yeah, like you're basically doubling. You're having 2 storylines almost. It seems like within this Spider-Man 2. So I could see reason why it being bigger. And I'm with Richard. I'm glad that it's bigger, not necessarily to take up more of the memory space on my console, but just to know that they're putting something into it. Now, granted, you can make things bigger and they still be crap. Call of Duty, I'm looking at you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like
yeah, thank you. Yeah, I can't understand. I cannot fathom why Call of Duty is 175 gigabytes. I can't fathom it. Like, how many is there just that many? Like, because I haven't played Call of Duty in, I don't know, since whenever, I don't know, the last fucking solar eclipse happened. Like, I don't know. Like, it's been so long, but there's that many maps now and that many like vehicles and guns and characters that you can play, or what?
There's a whole bunch of glitches and crap crashing. So
okay. Yeah, I don't get it. I just do not get it.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, so you can have a huge like size for that, but it's not the size that matters. It's just the motion of the ocean.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
That's the motion of the controller.
Yeah.
Dual axis, baby. All right. You know who else is widening out? Or you got something else?
No. I want to hit the segue.
No, go ahead.
Forget what.
No,
fuck whatever
ahead.
I have to say. I want to hit the segue.
You
know who else is widening out their playing field?
No. I don't know. I don't want to answer this.
We had this joke a couple weeks ago with the "Bye, Jeremy" thing. Like, I don't need a round 2.
I'm gonna say Jonathan Hickman. Is that who?
You damn right he is.
Yay!
Because we're bringing back the Ultimate Comics universe with Ultimate Invasion here in 2024. And I can't tell by the way that it's wrote, are we getting a new Ultimate Comics Spider-Man? Is Peter Parker coming back from the dead? Is Miles Morales taking back over? What the fuck is going on there?
Yeah. I have no idea. They said they're going to announce in like a couple of weeks, maybe a week, with New York Comic Con coming up. But yeah, Ultimate Invasion, I didn't even know this was a thing going on in the comic books. That shows you how much I haven't been reading current comics right now. I'm tentatively excited because I fucking loved Bendis's Ultimate Spider-Man run. I think it's fantastic. It originally I hated the Ultimate Universe, and it was because I didn't I never read the Spider-Man stuff. I just saw all this like weird changes that they did in the Ultimate Universe that I just did not like. And I know the MCU takes a lot of inspiration from the Ultimate Universe, but they took some of the good things and left out all the weird shit. But yeah, I like Jonathan Hickman. He is best when he does long form storytelling. His Fantastic Four run which eventually led into Secret Wars is phenomenal. So I'm very excited. What little bit I've read of his X-Men is weird, but I think it's going to pay off. I don't know yet. I'm waiting till the Fall of X is done, and then I'm just going to binge read everything. But yeah, this has me excited. I hope I kind of want it because Miles is now in the 616 universe. At least as last I checked, he was. I don't know if this Ultimate Invasion now he's back over there or something, but I'm hoping they bring back Ultimate Peter Parker back. That would be cool. Or Hickman could do something completely different, which would be neat too.
Possibly. He could wind up with another Spider-Boy, which he's got a following, so maybe that'd be good. I don't know, but yeah. So that's the thing.
Yep. Yeah, it's not in that universe, but it'd be cool if he had like Mayday Parker or something. But anyway, she's not in that universe, so it doesn't matter.
She could be now.
Yeah, but you'd have to explain like him and Mary Jane, who were like kids still at the time when Peter died, like somehow Mary Jane and them had sex and then she was pregnant and then gave birth, but then Secret Wars happened and she died, but now they're back. And anyway, I don't know. It's all confusing. I've gone cross-eyed now.
That's what I was going to say. Like Secret Wars is what's got me like all kinds of like, is it a brand new world? Oh, new world. Or is it like
at the end of that, I don't know how, see, I've got to read Ultimate Invasion because at the end of Secret Wars, using, I can't remember now, but it was like using the power that God King Doom took from the Beyonders and stuff in Molecule Man. The Fantastic Four with Franklin Richard and all that, they decided to recreate the multiverse and they left to go explore the new multiverse that they're creating. So I don't know if it's like, oh, hey, we also created the Ultimate Universe again, or because it talks about in that article, which is kind of a spoiler for me because I haven't read it, but they talk about the Makers come back somehow.
Yes. And see Ultimate Invasion.
Yeah. And for those that don't know, the Maker is the Ultimate Universe's Reed Richards. He becomes a villain and he takes on the moniker as the Maker.
Absolutely. I mean, let's be honest. Who better to sit there and bring back the Ultimate Universe than the person that destroyed it in the first place?
Yeah. Yeah. I really like Hickman. Hickman is one of those, he's a slow burn, but if you stick with him, his stories pay off. It's so, anyway, I love Hickman a lot.
You know who else I want to stick with? James Gunn.
Okay.
And the people he's already said that he's confirming are coming back for the DCU. So not only we're getting Viola Davis, John Cena, along with like some other characters that have been nobody else big really has been mentioned. I think it's really John Cena and Viola Davis that's kind of been like the big hitters of this new DCU. However, let's see if I can do this.
You want me to do it?
I've kind of wrote it out, but Zolo Mariduena.
Close. So close.
Blue Beetle. Close?
Zolo Mariduena. Yeah.
Duena. Okay. That sounds better. It's coming back. He's confirmed to come back as Blue Beetle. He's going to be the DCU Blue Beetle. So, but Blue Beetle is not canon. Like, very adamantly in that article.
Yeah.
Nothing is canon.
No.
Everything starts at Creature Commandos.
Yep.
But yeah, he'll stick around as the Blue Beetle. So I thought that was really cool. I haven't got to see it yet, but I'm excited. I still want to see it, and I'm excited to see what he does.
Same.
Yeah. I'm like, it's like I'm with you. I was really excited about the movie, and whenever it was coming out, and I really wanted to go see it, but hadn't gotten around to that part yet. Hopefully we'll go do that soon.
Well, I think it's got to be coming out on Max soon. I mean,
you would think so.
TMNT's already out on Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
And I want to say that came out around like right before or right around the time
I think it was.
Blue Beetle came out.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I don't know.
I just started watching that, and it's good so far. So.
Spoilers.
I wanted to watch it.
Yeah.
I wanted to watch it this weekend, just never got around to it.
Yeah.
So, but good. I'm glad to hear it's good so far.
Yeah.
So far.
Well, we watched we just started it tonight, so I watched like 30 minutes of it, 30, 45 minutes.
Oh, so the intro was good.
Yeah, basically.
That's great. Oh, I'm wondering if this next series we're getting to Max will be any good. Kite Man, hell yeah.
Oh.
Hell yeah.
The only thing that I noticed throughout this teaser, we got a teaser for it. And first of all, I'm kind of like up in the air about Kite Man having his own show. Like I don't know. It seems to be following the same lines of the Harley Quinn Max show and stuff like that. Bringing in a character known as the Golden Glider as well, who was actually in the Flash TV show, if I'm not mistaken. I want to say there was a Golden Glider character in that show.
There was.
Anyways.
There also, she was introduced in the 3rd, 4th season of Harley Quinn. I can't remember.
Okay. I haven't gotten that far. I think I've watched season 3. I think. I know 1 and 2 for sure. So.
Gotcha.
Anyways, I know that Richard's watched the Harley Quinn series. Jeremy, have you watched any of the Harley Quinn series?
No.
Oh, well. Does this Kite Man hell yeah look good to you?
I think it'll be a good one. You'll watch with the kids and everything.
Yes. Yes.
Not really.
No.
Blood and guts.
No. God, no.
Yes.
No.
But no, yeah. Whenever I watched the teaser, I was like, okay. I mean, it looks like it might be funny and kind of interesting, but not that great. I don't know. It'd be
if the writers from Harley Quinn are on the show, I think it's going to be fantastic because I think Harley Quinn is one. It's to me, it strikes a nerve on my funny bone, like because like I said, one of the funniest jokes from that show, honestly, is in the 1st season, but it's when Dr. Psycho calls Wonder Woman a cunt.
Hey,
and it cuts to the very next scene, and it's like he's getting canceled by the Legion of Doom. Like it's so fucking funny. It's such a funny joke to me where he's like, you, and it like they bleep it out, and it cuts to Lex Luthor in front of the Legion of Doom, or whatever, the Hall of Doom. I forget what it's called, but anyway, and he's like, we do not condone the actions of Dr. Psycho and stuff like that. I just think that's such a funny joke. Because like even I don't know. Anyway. I think whoever writes for the show is also a big fan of the DC universe because they have deep cuts. Like I said, Condiment King is in this show, and they just know their lore, their DC lore. So some of these jokes just really like hit for me, and I'm super excited for it. But anyway, that's just me.
So basically, those jokes would go over my head.
Yeah, probably. If you listen and remember what we say, maybe not.
You want to know the jokes that went over my head?
Wait, we haven't even heard what you had to say. You just go straight to the segue.
I said what I had to say. We got a Golden Glider. It looks the same as the other Harley Quinns.
Okay.
And,
all right.
or the Harley Quinn TV show. I'm kind of, it's been a while since I've watched Harley Quinn. I'm kind of, whatever. Sure.
Right.
I question it a little bit, but I hope it's as good as Harley Quinn was when I was watching it. So I just haven't been able to keep up with it.
Yeah.
But back to what I was saying about jokes not landing for me. The jokes they were making in the Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom trailer that came out. This whole like him walking out into his laundry hanging up, and he's just got his Aquaman suit just sitting there hanging, like air drying. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like you live in the ocean partly, like mostly I would think, especially since you're king of Atlantis now. So like, why does it need to air dry? Why is that even a thing?
That's the joke. That's like, do you get it, Coral? Do you get it? He's gonna air dry his wetsuit.
No, fuck that.
Yeah, no, I know.
No, absolutely not.
Me personally, this is the scariest trailer we've gotten for Spooky Month so far.
Like it's scary bad?
Yeah, like it looks bad.
I think as a whole, I like it. I think it looks good. I like their version of Atlantis much better than the MCU's. And it's just the comedy of it. It looks like it's the same movie, honestly. Two people team up to go and find an artifact to be able to save Atlantis. Like, so it looks, story-wise, it looks like it's the same exact movie as the first one that we got. But apparently Mira is definitely taking a back seat. So I don't know if the whole Johnny Depp thing kind of hurt her in that or not. I also heard some rumors that her and Momoa had some issues on set and stuff like that as well. And I'm not sure what the whole Black Trident thing is either. I kind of looked some of that stuff up, and people are speculating that it's the Dead King's scepter from the New 52. That's something I've not read. I don't know anything about, but
yeah, just real quick, I looked that up as well. The Dead King's scepter is King Atlan, which is what the story was from the first movie. It's just the golden trident. So like there is no Black Trident. I talked to you last week off podcast, but I feel like they're copying just the Blackest Night storyline, where instead of it being a Black Trident, instead of it being a black lantern ring, it's just a Black Trident that can raise the dead or something. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I can definitely say. Was it dead that was raised? It kind of looked like dead people were in the trailer.
Some people are theorizing, I think in that story, I don't know. I'm trying to remember. I could be confusing it because they seem to be pulling from multiple stories. It may not be the Dead King's Trident, but anyway, there's some other artifact that Black Manta takes, I think, in a story that like can raise these like black creatures from the trench. I think it may be the trench, but I'm not sure.
Oh, that'd be so cool. I want a movie on the trench, honestly, and I want James Wan to do it.
Yeah,
like that's what I want.
Yeah, James Wan is a horror director. He made all the Conjuring he's
damn right he did.
He made all the Conjuring movies. He's kind of responsible for the Conjuring universe.
Yes.
The little bit of horror that we get in that first Aquaman movie is just him showing how well he can do horror.
Oh, it's so good.
This movie looks weird and colorful again, and which I know we complained about Namor's underwater like needing more lights, and
right,
but I don't know. It's just there's something tonally off about this entire movie to me. And it, like you said, it kind of looks like the previous movie. To me, it looks like Thor: The Dark World, where two guys are teaming up to take on the bad guy. Like him and Orm, Arthur and Orm. Look, there. It's just Loki and Thor again teaming up to fight somebody else. Like, anyway,
Jeremy, what is your whelming on this trailer? We've yet to hear from you on this.
Yeah, I didn't know. I haven't seen the first one, so I mean.
Jerry's like, I don't care.
Yeah, I'll have to. It never really was one that I just really wanted to go see or even really heard that great things about. So I'm not gonna waste my time or money to go watch it. So, but yeah. I mean, if we decide we're going to review it, then I'll go watch it. But if we're not going to review it, then I probably won't watch it.
The first one made $1 billion. I got a feeling this one's going to flop like every other DC movie recently, because I think everybody is like, it's dead. We don't care until Creature Commandos and was it Superman Legacy or what's it called? I forget what it's called.
So Superman Legacy.
Superman Legacy comes out, like no one's going to go see it unless it's this, like unless it's fucking amazing and word of mouth gets out. I don't think it's going to make any money.
I mean, Blue Beetle was talked highly of, and that didn't help Blue Beetle any. And he's sticking around, so
it's at least got to do better than the Flash. So.
It probably won't, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think it'll be the flop that Flash was, only because it doesn't have the budget that Flash did.
Yeah.
So, but I don't think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to turn anything. It's definitely not going to turn anything around. But I don't think it's going to be the saving grace for DC this year. I don't see that either.
Yeah.
So
the one thing I wonder, and I talked about with you, Michael, last week off podcast, is being that more than likely this is the last Aquaman movie, like with James Wan and this sort of continuity, if you will.
Yeah.
A lot of people are speculating, because this is Black Manta's sort of claim to fame here, is Black Manta, spoilers for everyone, Black Manta is known for killing Aquaman's child in the comics. Aquaman has a child in this movie. Black Manta is seeking revenge. Everyone's like, is James Wan gonna kill a child in this movie? And just say, fuck it. Since we're not gonna continue on this story, I'm killing his son.
Yes, he absolutely is. I mean, he's a horror director. Come on.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Certainly that's in his wheelhouse. Like, I know I sound ridiculous and morbid for saying all this, and I love my children deeply, but the fact of the matter is, like, you've got one shot at doing this. Like, if you don't, that opportunity is probably never going to arise again.
Yeah.
So why not? Why not go ahead and do it for a dying universe anyways?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm very... I like the actor that plays Black Manta.
Yes.
He's got once again, he's like a boss level of hard to pronounce names. It's Yahya Abdul Mateen II.
I just call him Yaman.
But yeah, I think he's quite good in the role. I even like the redesign of his outfit in this one. It makes that giant goofy helmet pop more. It just sucks. It sucks. I don't necessarily like Momoa as Aquaman, but it is, I don't know. I feel bad for Wan, because James Wan does make like competent movies. So
yeah,
I kind of wish, I don't know, he'd be brought on to do something else in the future.
I imagine he will, because did he not do the Swamp Thing, or did a few, or oversee? He did something with the Swamp Thing TV series, did he not?
I didn't watch the Swamp Thing TV series because I didn't have the DC streaming service at the time. It's something on my docket to watch eventually, along with Doom Patrol and other things.
Yeah. I need to look into that, because I have it. I own it, but I haven't watched it yet. And I'm pretty sure, though, he had something to do with that TV series, because I was like, yes, that's fucking amazing to get a horror guy to do Swamp Thing. Like, absolutely. Bring him back and let him do Justice League Dark.
Yeah,
like, let him be over all that.
Or bring him back to do Swamp Thing, because that's one of the slated movies that are going to happen.
Right. Well, and it's supposed to be loosely based in that universe, which doesn't make any damn sense now, which I hate that he even said that, honestly.
Yeah.
But if that's the case, if it's loosely based, you could do a side DC Black Label Justice League, or Elseworlds Justice League Dark, and that would be really cool.
Yeah.
So, real quick, to kind of go back to a previous conversation that we were having, I was not surprised, but kind of surprised to hear that Momoa was not in the list of names returning to the DCU, as well as I saw a picture of him while I was reading the article, which made me think about it. But Zachary Levi as Shazam was not mentioned either, and I'm really sad about that one, because I fucking love him as Shazam.
Yeah.
He did a really good job. That's one that I hate to see go as well. Like, I wish that one would stick around.
I mean, especially because, like, you could sit there and make him the adult version of Billy. I mean, the movies kind of made it to where he was at that point of being an adult anyways. So you could just kind of go with him the rest of the time. Although I like the back and forth.
Yeah.
So I prefer that.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Anyways.
They could bring him back if they wanted to do a Kingdom Come story. Since
I'd love that.
Shazam is a big proponent in that story.
I absolutely love that, and I'd love Henry Cavill to come back as well.
I don't want Momoa back as Aquaman. I hate his Aquaman. I want him as Lobo. As everyone else talks about, this dude was fucking born to be Lobo, and he should just be Lobo. So I'm hoping and praying that will be the case.
I'd say it's definitely a possibility with James Gunn.
Yeah.
Like, I could definitely see him wanting to have a Lobo in this new universe, especially with something of the likes of Creature Commandos.
Yeah.
Well, that's all the segues I've got. Y'all got anything else?
Nope.
And no, I'm good.
Cool. Jeremy, where can they find you at?
They can find me find me on Twitch under the handle Night Fury GTO. It's Night with a K, and you can find me here.
I was quite worried about where they'd be able to find you under. So, Richard, where can they find you at, though?
You can find me on top of. You can find me if you want to contact me directly. I have an X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, and Instagram, and a Threads. My handle is Night Curry, night like day and night, and Curry with a K. If you want to contact us directly, we have a Gmail. Our Gmail is comicallycomicspodcast@gmail.com. And if you want to check us out on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, you can check us out under the name Comically Comics Podcast. And if you want to check us out on X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, you can check us out under the name Comically Comics with an X. Ba-na-na-na-na-na.
See, I told you it works freaking seamlessly almost. You can find me on Instagram and eBay at 22_comics. You can also find me on YouTube at 22comics. Thank y'all so much for listening. Hope you enjoyed as much as we did making it. With all that being said, say goodbye, Jeremy.
Bye, Jeremy.
Bye, Jeremy. Bye.
Wolverine. Everybody's favorite. Wolverine. Favorite X-Man. Look, I've been going over your file, and I've made the decision to fire you because you are worthless.
But I've got these.
Yes. Very impressive. This is your power. That's it. You flail.
I'm pretty important to this team, bub.
You're fired. I'd kill you with my mind, but it doesn't feel right. Feel like I'd be putting down a special needs member of the cast of Footloose. Hey, Wolverine, you want to see my claws? Bub. You.